Next to the gripping testimony in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, Jeffrey Epstein's former house manager testifying the two entertained hundreds of young women, some underage, at Epstein's Florida mansion. The employee telling the courtroom Maxwell was intimately involved in the household's day-to-day and even slept in Epstein's bedroom. Stephanie Gosk reports.
In court today, a behind-the-scenes look at life in Jeffrey Epstein's sprawling Palm Beach mansion. Juan Alessi was the house manager for more than a decade. He told the jury Ghislaine Maxwell was the lady of the house and slept in Epstein's bedroom. Hundreds of women passed through the home while he worked there, most of them in their 20s, he said. While at the pool, Alessi testified at least 75% were topless. The women interacted with both Epstein and Maxwell, and some were underage girls.
It appears that these underage victims, according to the testimony, would always show up Miss Maxwell's office when they were presented at the house. And from there, the house manager says he didn't see what happens next.
Maxwell faces 6 counts of sex trafficking. The prosecution alleges she lured teenage girls for Epstein to abuse, while the defense argues in part that she was just an employee and a victim of Epstein's manipulation. Earlier this week, the first of Maxwell's accusers, using the pseudonym Jane, described how Maxwell and Epstein befriended her when she was 14 at an arts camp in Michigan, where Epstein was a donor. Jane told the jury Maxwell acted like a big sister but was grooming her for Epstein, graphically describing how she trained her to massage and sexually satisfy him.
When this alleged victim, Jane, described her first sexual interaction with Jeffrey Epstein and how that made her feel, that we saw Ghislaine Maxwell breathing heavily at the defense table.
Jane painted a picture of the lavish lifestyle Maxwell and Epstein used to ensnare her, testifying that Epstein invited her on his private plane, gave her money when her family struggled financially, and introduced her to powerful men, including Donald Trump. In her testimony, she didn't say anything inappropriate happened with the former president. The defense attempted to highlight discrepancies in dates and facts. Jane told investigators Epstein took her to The Lion King in 1994, but the show didn't open until 3 years later. She also, according to the defense, told investigators she wasn't sure if Maxwell was ever in the room when the abuse occurred. In court on Monday, Jane testified Maxwell was often there and sometimes took part in the abuse. The defense tried to portray her as interested only in Epstein's money. But in an emotional end to her testimony, Jane said she wished she never received $5 million from the Victims Fund, adding, "Hopefully this just puts it to an end and I can move on with my life."
Stephanie joins us now on set. Stephanie, what a day of testimony, right? And we saw that there in your story. The house manager had some pretty big recollections about what went down in that Epstein house.
Yeah, you know, Tom, think about it. This is a case about the sex trafficking of minors. Ghislaine Maxwell is not accused of abuse. She's accused of sex trafficking. So what does the prosecution have to do? They have to establish that there was a minor involved. Well, this house manager says he met Jane at the age of 14, 1994. That's when he met her at the Palm Beach house. He goes on to say that he would often pick Jane up at her home because she lived in the Palm Beach area and bring her to the house. And on at least one occasion, he picked her up, according to him, with luggage and took her, Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, the family dog, and other guests to the airport.
Puts them all together. Prosecution had him on the stand today. Tomorrow the defense gets their chance.
That's exactly right. They have not cross-examined him yet.
All right. All right, Stephanie, thank you for that.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.